What I have here is the BJT characteristics. So there are three different characteristics one can think of. The first one which I have drawn, which we have also derived earlier, is the dependency of collector current on VBE. Okay, and what we obtained was a relationship which is like this: IC is equal to IS into e raised to VBE by VT. So this is for NPN transistor. The collector current is going to heavily depend upon the base to emitter voltage. So that is plotted IC versus VBE. So VBE is the input voltage if you are thinking about common emitter configuration. VBE is the input and IC is the output. So you can call this as transfer characteristics, because we are plotting output current with respect to input voltage. The second one is basically input current versus input voltage. So input voltage, so that is input characteristics, and input current is IB, and IB is basically IC divided by beta. Okay, so beta is basically given by the product of emitter injection ratio and base transport factor. That will decide, basically the product is basically alpha, and then from alpha you can find out beta. This also we have seen in an earlier class. So this is called the input characteristics. And then we have another characteristics. If you draw it for a practical transistor, you will see that the output current, it is not completely independent of the output voltage VCE. There is a slight dependence which is shown by a non-zero slope here. If it was independent, then the curve that we would get is like, it should be flat. There should be no slope. Okay, so this should be the way the characteristic should look like. It should be horizontally flat lines, which means that IC is independent of VCE. But practically that is not the case. So this is basically our output characteristics: output current versus output voltage. Okay, now so if you assume the expressions which I have already written here assumes that there is no dependence. So this expression for IC, which is IS into e raised to VB by VT, here I have not shown any dependence of the output voltage. VCE is not there anywhere in this expression, and similarly IB is IC by beta. Okay, and beta is something like 100, and so since here also IC doesn't depend upon VCE, so we have not taken into account that dependency. But in order to take into account of that dependency, what we can do is we can take the practical characteristics of a BJT, which will have a non-zero slope like this. Okay, so this is the non-zero slope. So we can take the practical characteristics and then modify these equations in order to incorporate this non-zero slope. So if there was no dependency on VCE, then these curves will be completely flat, like as I have shown here with the orange lines, dotted lines. But since there is a slope, we have to assume that they change with respect to these VCE. The current is changing. So if I extend this backward, then it will meet on the y-axis at this point. This particular curve will meet on this point. And similarly, if I extend this, then this will also meet at this point. So that is basically the y-intercept. So let me take one of these lines and call this y-intercept as IC0. Okay, IC0 is the y-intercept. And if I write an equation of this straight line, that is this straight line, then I can write it like IC is equal to y-intercept is IC0, then plus I need the slope, so the slope of this multiplying basically the VCE. Okay, VCE is the independent axis, so I can write like this: IC0 plus the slope of this line. So I am looking at this particular line, okay, and write the equation of this line. This is what I am trying to achieve. So I need two things. One is the y-intercept, which I got by extending this to the vertical axis, and then noting down that point, plus the slope of this. Okay, so this is equal to IC0 plus now what is the slope? So the slope, so I need to come up with some model, and the model I am going to come up with is basically IC0 divided by VA into VCE. Okay, so I have defined the slope like this, so which means that in a sense it means that if I keep on extending this line backward like this, if I keep on extend this will meet somewhere on the x-axis, somewhere here. Okay, so that point if it is like VA, okay, so if I okay, so this I am talking with respect to this, the third curve. So if I extend this straight line, it will meet the x-axis at some point away from, this is my origin, from there away from the origin, away how much away? It is VA away. So the slope I can write like the delta y by delta x. Okay, so delta y is basically IC0 by delta x is basically VA. Okay, so that's how I have. So now I can, what I can do is I can take this IC0 and I can write it as 1 plus VCE by VA. Okay, so this is a standard way of representing the dependency of the collector current with respect to the output voltage VCE. So VCE is basically the constant current which doesn't depend upon the value of VCE. Okay, so that was our earlier current. So this is basically our IC0, and similarly this is my IB0. Okay, so now I can write my collector current as, so if I substitute for IC0, which is the current that you will get out of input voltage that you applied. Okay, when you bias the transistor in forward active region, and if you think about the output IC current, collector current as independent of the output voltage, then it will only depend upon VBE, and we will be able to derive this expression. But now added to that, we are saying that it will also depend upon VCE, and the dependency is determined by this factor VA. So VA has to be having a unit of voltage that you can see from the graph. Also we defined it as a voltage at which this curve is going to meet the x-axis or the voltage axis. So it is basically how much is the voltage away from the origin. So that is basically, and this voltage VA is called early voltage. Okay, so early is the name of the person who has come up with this model. Okay, and so the ratio of two voltage has to be unitless, and therefore it is like the unit of the first term is also it is one unity and doesn't have any unit, and therefore the second term should also have no units, and that is ensured by taking it as a ratio of two voltage. So this is early voltage. VA is early voltage. The larger the value, so that's a note, larger the value of VA, then this line is going to meet away from the origin, far away, which means that the slope is going to be smaller. Smaller is the slope. Larger the value of VA, smaller is the slope, and smaller is the slope. And so that you can see here, if VA is very large, then as you change VCE, the way in which the IC is going to change is going to be very, very small, because 1 by VA is going to be very, very small. And say for example, if VA is 100, so 1 by 100 is 0.01, and the dependency on VCE is going to be very large, very small. Okay, so the dependency of VCE will be very minimum. So smaller is the slope, and the dependency on VCE is very small. Okay, smaller is the slope, and the dependency on VCE is also very small. Okay, so we now got a modified expression. So the first expression which I wrote, so this one was like as if it is not depending upon the VCE, and then we have added a term which will basically tell you the dependence on VCE. So now if I draw the small first of all the large signal model. Okay, so let me go to what is called as the large signal model. So large signal model means what? I have so for example, for NPN transistor, I can model the transistor with more simpler components. Okay, sorry, this will not come. So this is basically the large signal model. So the transistor has three terminals. One is this emitter, then base, and then collector. Okay, so it has a diode between base and emitter, and it has a voltage dependent current source, and I have to specify which voltage it depends upon. This is basically VBE, and this current source is given by the expression for IC. Okay, so this current is itself is the collector current IC, and I can write it as IS into e raised to VBE by VT into 1 plus VCE by VA. Okay, so this is basically the expression for the voltage dependent current source. But now you can see that this current by this dependent current source is it depends on both VBE and VCE. So earlier when we draw it was not depending upon VCE, but now because the collector current expression is modified, we have a current source which depends upon two voltages, VBE as well as VCE. Okay, so this is going to be our large signal model, and this quite reasonably model all the characteristics that we have seen so far. Okay, so this the diode voltage and the current which is going, this IB, this is IB. IB is just basically this IC divided by so whatever is this IC, that divided by beta. Okay, so that is going to be this current. Okay, so all right, so now what we need to see next is basically the small signal model. So in order to come to the small signal model, the way we arrive is basically we take VBE as VBE 0, which is basically a DC voltage that you give, plus a delta VBE. Okay, so delta VBE is basically a small signal variation. So what we are saying is that so VBE consists of two parts. One is basically a DC. Okay, so that is basically you apply a battery and connect across base and emitter terminal. So that constant DC voltage is VBE 0. I am distinguishing it from VBE. So VBE 0 is the DC component, and added to that I have a small signal. How small it should be? Earlier we have seen that if it has to be considered as a small signal, it has to be so where delta VBE should be less than VT, which is 26 millivolt divided by 10. Okay, so this is a thumb rule that we will take. So if it is sufficiently small, then so if it is sufficiently small, then if it is less than 1/10 of VT or 26, so that will be like 2.6 millivolt or smaller than that. That much variation is only we are giving here. So if that is the case, then what is going to be our IC? So therefore IC, the output current, you can write it as all you need to do is basically take the expression and substitute IS into e raised to, so VBE is what? Now VB is VBE 0 plus delta VBE, okay, into 1 plus VCE by A. Now you can exponential, we have a sum of two things, so we can write product of two exponentials. You can convert that, so we can write it as VBE 0 by, okay, there is a VT here, VC by VT into 1 plus VCE by VA into the second term will be basically delta VBE by VT. So if you look at this, is basically our IC. So this is the new current. Okay, so I should you say IC dash. So this was our earlier current. Whatever was the earlier current, or maybe another way I can think. Okay, so let us think this as IC and this is IC dash. Okay, so IC dash means it has both DC plus small signal, and IC means it has only DC. Okay, so VBE 0 is basically a DC. Okay, so this is basically equal to IC into, so this exponential term under small signal approximation you can write it as 1 plus delta VBE by VT, and I am neglecting all the other terms which would be there, because provided this small signal approximation, so this is called small signal approximation. Okay, so this is a under this approximation I can neglect all the higher order term. So this, if you expand, you can see that it is basically IC plus IC by VT into delta VBE. So that is I can say it is IC plus delta IC. So what did we get? So we got the change in the collector current corresponding to the small signal variation of VBE. Okay, so let me rewrite the change in collector current. Delta IC is basically given by what was IC by VT into delta VB. Okay, so if I take the ratio of these two parameters, therefore delta IC by delta VB. So this factor is basically given by IC by VT, and this is basically change in the collector current corresponding to the change, small signal change in the base emitter voltage. This is what we will now call as small GM. Okay, because it's a small signal variation, so I am going to use small letter here. So GM, or it is called the transconductance. So what is transconductance? So transconductance is a parameter that is going to decide how much collector current will vary. So therefore delta IC is basically equal to GM into delta VB. So this collector current variation depends upon the input voltage variation by a factor GM. Now as you can see that GM depends upon the DC current value. Okay, IC is basically the DC current, and so DC current basically decides your GM. So therefore we can add a note. So what is that? The transconductance depends on the DC current IC. Larger the value of IC, larger is the GM. Okay, so larger the value of IC, larger is the GM. So that means if you want more amplification, because ultimately your amplification is going to depend upon GM, so you need to bias the transistor in such a way that a large IC will flow through it, so that you can have a larger amplification factor. Okay, all right, so that is one thing. Now we can also talk about your what is going to be the delta IB. So delta IB is what? Delta IC divided by beta. Okay, so that's a relationship, because we know that okay, because okay, so because we know that IB is equal to IC by beta. So IB dash is also going to be IC dash by beta. Okay, so the earlier expression that we have received, you just need to divide by beta. So earlier we have written the expression for IC dash. So if you divide that by beta, that way we will get the expression for IB dash. Also in the same way you will get. So if you substitute again, so this is equal to so IC dash, IC is what? Delta IC is basically GM GM by, so GM into delta VB. So GM by beta into delta VB. Okay, so this is like variation of input voltage delta VB and variation of input current VB. So we can therefore delta VBE by delta IB is going to be equal to beta by GM. Now this is a variation of input voltage divided by input current. So that is basically what it's called, it's a resistance, right? Ratio of voltage, the ratio of voltage to the current, and both are from input. So it's basically something like an input resistance. We call it as R pi. Okay, so I will write it as input resistance. for small signal. Okay, so it is the input resistance for small signal, and its value is given by so therefore R pi. So if I substitute GM as what was GM earlier, we have derived GM. So GM is basically IC by VT, so it is going to be beta divided by IC by VT. Okay, so if I substitute for GM, I will get beta VT divided by IC. So that is going to be the input resistance. Now as you can see that as the collector current is going to increase, so you can write a note again. If DC collector current increase, increases, then what will happen? The input resistance will decrease. Okay, because here the IC is in the denominator, so if IC goes up, R pi goes down. Okay, so this may have some adverse effect on the amplifier, because when we discussed the models of amplifier, transconductance amplifier, one thing which we have said is basically the input resistance should be very high. Okay, but when we try to improve the amplification factor here, so BJT will have a reduction in the input resistance. So that will introduce some what is called as the loading effect. Okay, so there is going to be potential dividing at the input side from the source. So if the source is very offers a very small source resistance, then the problem will be not much. But if the source has some finite large source resistance, then there could be loading effect which will ultimately reduce the voltage amplification factor, even though your GM is going to become high. So another way you can have a large beta value, okay, by having good alpha value which is close to 1. Alpha is a product of emitter injection ratio gamma and Bayes transfer factor B. Okay, so you can make that close to 1, and therefore beta, which is basically alpha by 1 minus alpha, you can make it as large as possible. So these equations tell you how to improve the transconductance amplifier. Okay, what are the parameters that you need to change or increase or decrease. Okay, and Vt is a constant that depends only on temperature, so that depends on what temperature you operate the device. Okay, so that you cannot improve, but beta you can change, IC you can change, and thereby vary the input resistance as well as the transconductance. Okay, so the other parameter that we need to look at, what will happen if I change so we derived the transconductance and the input resistance. Now we are going to derive what is called as the output resistance. For that, what we do is basically again you take the expression for IC. So IC is basically equal to, or IC dash, it is equal to IC into 1 plus VCE by Vt. Okay, so or I think I wrote IC as IC0 into 1 plus Vc. So let's stick to that terminologies. So this is like the constant current which only depends upon the input voltage VBE, and but if I introduce the equation of a straight line with a non-zero slope, then it will be modified to IC. Okay, so this is the complete expression, same that we have started looking at in the beginning. So now what I do is, like, I want to look at the dependence of this on VCE. So what I do is that I modify VCE by a small amount. Okay, so there are multiple ways I can do. I can so call this as IC dash, and what is IC dash? IC0 into 1 plus VCE plus delta VCE by VT. All I have done is, like, instead of VCE I have introduced a small signal which is delta VCE, and then I rewrote the expression. So that will give you basically IC0 into 1 plus VCE by VT. Okay, so plus what else is there? So we have an additional term that has come, which is basically IC0 into delta VCE by VT. Okay, so this is the additional term, IC0 into delta VCE, IC0 into delta VCE by VT. Okay, now what is this? This is our IC. This is our IC. So plus IC0 by VT into, sorry, I have made a mistake. So this is not VT, it is VA. Okay, this is early voltage. So everywhere I have to correct this. Okay, so this is VA. So IC0 by VA into delta VCE. Now what I do is I take IC to the other side, so I will get basically IC dash minus IC. So therefore IC dash minus IC, which is what I call as delta IC. Okay, so change in the collector current with respect to the change in the voltage. So that is going to be equal to IC0 by VA into delta VCE. Okay, so this I can invert. I can write it as delta VCE by delta IC. So that is the ratio of output voltage to output current. Okay, so what is this? This is basically my R0, output resistance. I will denote it small signal output resistance R0, and that is going to be equal to what? So that is going to be equal to, so if I take delta IC to this side, and I will get it as VA by IC0, which I can approximate as VA by IC. Okay, so IC0, of course it depends on it depends upon VCE, but I'm going to take IC0 in this expression as IC itself. Okay, so there is a small error I will make, but still that's not very large. Okay, so this is basically the expression for R0. So what did we get? What we are seeing is that the output resistance for small signal variation of delta VCE is going to depend upon the early voltage and the collector current operating point. Okay, so early voltage, because usually IC is going to be a weak function of VCE, and therefore this approximation, the last step here, doesn't make much error. Okay, IC primarily depend upon VBE, but it is a weak function of VCE, and therefore I have replaced IC0 with the IC. So IC0 is the constant current without any dependence on VCE, and IC means complete collector current, which also depends upon VCE. Okay, so this is what we got this. So you can see that as the collector current increases, your output resistance is going to be the output resistance according to our model. It is going to become smaller and smaller, which means what? So if you go back to the characteristics here, what we are saying is that the upper curve, which corresponds to VBE2, is going to have a larger slope compared to the lower curve. And similarly, if I continue to draw one more curve here, okay, so this will be even more flat. Okay, so that means the slope increases. Okay, so here the slope is even smaller. Okay, so this slope is smaller, it has become bigger, and then it has become more bigger. So the slope is not same for every curve. It increases as you operate at a larger VBE value. So that slope is what giving rise to your R naught. So as IC increases, you will have smaller. Okay, so what we are saying is, as IC increases, the R naught, R naught is becoming smaller, and R naught becoming smaller means R naught is what? R naught is basically the ratio of voltage to current. Okay, so here the slope is basically inverse of R naught. So this slope here is basically 1 by R naught. Slope is basically 1 by R naught. So R naught increases means, so when IC is smaller, R naught increases. That means 1 by R naught, which is a slope, is going to reduce. Okay, so that is what we are observing in the curve. Okay, so if you draw if you find out the output characteristics of the practical BJT, then what you get is basically as you go to larger IC currents, you will have a larger slope, and the slope is 1 by R naught. Therefore R naught is going to become smaller and smaller. So okay, as this equation tells. Now these three quantities, which is corresponding to small signal variation. So let me write it here. So therefore, so now I am coming into small signal model. Signal model for NPN transistor. Okay, so the variation of delta IC with respect to delta VBE is given as delta IC is equal to GM into delta VBE. So that is what we saw first. Okay, and then the variation of delta IB with respect to delta VBE, that is given as delta IB is equal to delta IB is equal to GM by beta delta VBE. And the last thing that we found is the variation of delta IC with respect to the variation of delta VCE is given as delta IC is equal to this is equal to what? This is equal to what did we get? Finally we got delta IC. Delta IC is equal to in terms of R naught, if I write it, delta IC is basically equal to 1 by R naught into delta VC. So that is 1 by R naught into delta VCE. Okay, so where 1 by R naught is what? 1 by R naught is basically 1 by R naught is IC by VA. So either I can write IC by VA or 1 by R naught. Okay, so these are the things that so we got. So this is basically R pi into delta, sorry, 1 by R pi. So this is 1 by R pi into delta VB. So we have got basically three quantities: GM, 1 by R pi and 1 by R0. So putting those things into what is called as a small signal model. So provided we are operating the device, that is NPN transistor, in a at a DC operating point, on the top of that if you vary delta VB or delta VCE, then delta IC is going to vary according to this fashion. So this can be modeled as follows. So you can see that all variations are linear. Okay, a constant multiplied by whatever is the independent variation that decides the dependent variable variation. So this can be captured in a model, and the model if I draw, it will look like this. So this is your R pi, and then you have basically GM. So the variation of current was basically delta I, and that delta I is basically GM into the voltage here, which is GM into VBE. Okay, so let me use a small letter. Okay, VB for sorry, so I can just put delta VBE itself. Delta VBE, so GM into delta VBE. Okay, and then I have one more quantity here, which is going to be this resistance. This is my R naught. So here is my basically VCE. This is my emitter terminal, and this is my base terminal, and this is my collector terminal, and so this is my small signal equivalent of the transistor. So this voltage VCE, okay, so that is given by R naught into delta IC. So this is delta IC, and delta IC current when it flows through this R naught, so that will give you a voltage which is delta VCE. Okay, so this is what I call as the small signal model of the NPN transistor. Okay, so this is my delta IC. So delta IC has basically two components. One that comes from GM into VB, that is this. So you can see delta IC. If I take only the variation with respect to delta VB, so then it is GM into delta VB. So that is this component. So, and then also there is delta IC due to the variation of delta VC, which is 1 by R naught into delta VC. Okay, so that is the complete variation of delta IC. Okay, so it has two branches. One is GM into VBE, that is coming from the input voltage change. The other is basically delta VCE by R naught. Okay, so that is basically the early effect. So early effect is modeled here. So this is early effect. And this is basically transconductance. Conductance. Okay, so there are two ways in which IC will be changed. The terminal current IC is going to be changed by a factor delta IC. One is due to the variation of input voltage, that is given by GM into delta VBE, and the other is due to the variation of output voltage delta VCE, which is given by delta VCE by R naught. Okay, so so whenever there is a NPN transistor in a circuit, you can replace it with this small signal model, and the parameter GM. Okay, so the parameter also, actually what is the value of this parameter GM R pi? So GM is basically determined by what? It is determined by IC by VT, where this IC is basically large signal current, or I should say DC current in this case. Okay, and then R pi, what is R pi? R pi is basically beta divided by GM, which is in turn equal to beta VT by IC. And similarly R naught is basically the ratio of early voltage by IC. So you can see that everywhere IC is coming, so here also and here also. So this is also DC current. This is also DC current. Okay, so in the small signal model, the parameters are going to be determined by parameter means R pi, R0 and GM. All of these parameters are determined by the DC current. Okay, the DC collector current. So you, in order to draw the small signal equivalent of a BJT, first of all we need to do the DC operating point evaluation, find out IC, and then substitute the values of IC in this parameter equation, and then you will be able to get GM, R pi and R naught, which you can use to draw the small signal equivalent circuit. So that is the procedure, and in a similar way you can repeat this procedure for a PNP transistor, and you will get exactly the same equations. Okay, same parameter values. Okay, and the current direction that you are going to get is going to be exactly the same as what you get for a small signal equivalent circuit for an NPN transistor. But for large signal, the current direction is going to be reversed. Okay.